Let me tell you a story about a man named Jeb. Nope, that's the wrong song. Hello. My name is Tom Wise. Hey, would you like to go out on a date with me? Oh, wrong website. Darren, who is my friend. Remember always. Okay, enough fooling around. This video is for the Skeleton Crew / Fractured Mirror ongoing saga. And in this installment, I will be explaining to you in serio-comic terms the lyrics to Skeleton Crew. Yes, I'm looking down because I'm actually reading them because my addled brain. I'm looking down as I'm speaking, maybe, too. The point of subterfuge was lost means what? Well, subterfuge, obviously, is to fake somebody out. Now, what's the point of faking someone out? Well, to gain something, to win. And in this case, we're talking about war. Skeleton Crew is a song about war. What kind of war? This is a naval battle, naval-air battle, which is sort of on an offshoot of Iron Maiden. If you've never noticed, the song has that Maidenish little touch. Okay, so the point of subterfuge, the whole point of it, was lost. That's how we begin our story. There had been subterfuge, and now the point is lost. The enemy was rising, and that's the reason. Look, the enemy is rising, whether it's a submarine coming out of the water or the enemy is winning the battle. The enemy is rising, and we have to stop trying to fake out, and we have to play to win. So he knew the cruiser would be shelled. He, that's the person we're talking about, the specific person, a crewman on a ship, a cruiser. Could be a battleship too, but this is a cruiser. And he knew the cruiser would be shelled without compromising, or without compromise, but the rhyme on rising and compromising is too good to let it go. So now that the enemy's rising, there's going to be some firepower. He felt the urge of death command. The urge of death command his stomach to start churning. Well, I would imagine any of us being in this situation, our stomach would be churning too, at the very least. And his stomach is churning. He's not happy. He knows something is happening. The urge of death, it's not fear really, it's something more. The High Command broadcast. The High Command. Yeah, they're always in charge of everything, aren't they? To be prepared with no warning. Okay, so let's break that down a little bit. There's subterfuge, but the High Command is broadcasting anyway. They're breaking radio silence here. And they're telling them to be prepared, but with no warning. Well, since the enemy's already rising, who do they have to be prepared against? The government. So you'll have to take that as it is. Then after a brief musical interlude, we come back in with verse 2. Anti-aircraft ack-ack blew away the jets like flies. What is anti-aircraft ack-ack? Ack-ack is not something I made up. The ack-ack is the sound of the gun, and they call it ack-ack. They used to call it ack-ack. They may still call it ack-ack. I don't know if they still call it ack-ack. All I know is I like saying ack-ack. And anti-aircraft ack-ack is A-A-A-A. So just, you know, for all you people that are into words, you'll words, letters, acronyms, you'll like that. So the anti-aircraft ack-ack blew away the jets like flies. Back to the battle. The enemy is rising, and they're doing a good job of blowing away the enemy. But he wondered if the warheads were on hold to take the skies. So even though the battle is raging, the subterfuge is lost, the radio silence is broken, they have to be prepared, and he's wondering, with his stomach churning, if the warheads are on hold to take the skies. Great. Well, ground control. Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control confirmed his fear with word from leader base. Now, well, that's kind of just poetic. I mean, ground control, it's not NASA. High command, ground control, leader base, all the same thing, okay? They confirmed his fear. Can't afford to keep the whole card. Better play the ace. If you've never played poker, or if you have played poker, whatever, a whole card is a card you hold in reserve. Well, this is the message. Can't afford to keep the whole card. Better play the ace. Now, why would they get this message? Actually, I don't think they did. I think it was a mistake that he heard it. I think that it was a transmission that was meant to go somewhere else, and then, whoops, did we just send that? Ruh-roh. But the message is, we can't afford to keep the warheads down in the hole. We have to play it. Better play the ace. Ace of spades! Better play it. Anyway, now they knew, didn't they? Now they knew. Before they didn't. Now they knew that they were just a skeleton crew. What is a skeleton crew? It's a bare bones mission. You send just enough to get the job done. On a cruiser which holds hundreds, this one has few men. Now, they must have wondered, why are we going out like this? Well, maybe we're a little strapped for men, for materials. But now they know. Yes, they did. Now, after we go through a longer musical interlude with lots of Iron Maiden-like riffs, which I love it. I'm not downing that at all. I give it that to me all day. We come back to the story. Save our ships, the message said. So, save our ships is longhand for SOS. Save our ships, the message read. So they were sending out the code. They were using the Morse code. It was read. They sent it, it was received, and it was read. 100 men were dying. The 100 men on the ship that holds hundreds were dying. Why were they dying? Well, they were dying because they were winning. They're kind of not. You know, the high command was holding this in reserve. Maybe we, blah, 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 blah. Well, obviously the battle wasn't going that great. But to acknowledge any word would have revealed complying. There's a very, very interesting little bit of intrigue here. Now, they received the message. Maybe they knew they sent the message by mistake, maybe they didn't. But to acknowledge any word of SOS, I mean, they could have acknowledged the word and said, yeah, help's on the way. But to acknowledge any word of SOS, we're in trouble, would have revealed what kind of complying. Well, you know, again, look, I hate to be the conspiracy theorist, but sometimes things are happening outside of our control. Now, in this case, we have a situation where part of the high command, you know, we don't know how high up the chain it goes, were complying in some way. They were consorting. They were conspiring. They were making a plan, and it wasn't exactly kosher. Okay, back on the mediaplex. It wasn't going to play well in America. And also, perhaps the enemy is intercepting. Look, nobody wants to be told, yeah, we're going to get rid of the enemy, but you're in the way. The crew was sentenced to a doom. I'm not saying that was in the beginning, but certainly at the end of this story, they are sentenced to a doom. They're in the way. Okay? Thought they were blessed by Christ. Of course, before any football game, before we go out to any battle, there is going to be prayer. And since Christianity is the dominant religion, it is going to be to Christ. And let it be known that this is not a dig on religion or Christianity. This is just perfectly logical sense that servicemen, if they even didn't pray, maybe they thought they were blessed by the prayer of others, thought they were blessed by Christ. Certainly the ones who prayed that thought that. But war for peace is order. Actually, the original was War for Peace is Slaughter.